What's up, Dragon Brood? Y'all are wearing me down in this deck lab, by the way. But today I realized I haven't done any black decks yet, so we're going to put some black into a deck today, and we're going to be playing, well, not playing, but I'll be showing you Rakdos Aggro. We'll probably play it after the set comes out, but this is one of those ones where I'm playing a couple of cards that everybody's been asking about and talking about, so we finally found a way to get them into a list, and we're getting to show you some black cards. So, as always, I want to ask if you please would like this video. That helps so very much. It really, really does. And then if you'd hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, mostly so you can be notified every time we have a deck coming out, because we still have, what, 3 more days before the set goes live? And I'm going to have videos of multiple decks every day to help you out, so you are set to go right when the set goes live. But for now, let's go take a look at what Rakdos Aggro may look like. Okay, so the toughest part here with Rakdos Aggro was trying to figure out kind of like first off, what kind of mana do we need to be playing to kind of balance everything? But where do we want just creature value, and where do we want the value of the reconfigure things to live? That was a little bit iffy, but I have a feeling most people who start with early Rakdos Aggro lists are probably going to land on a lot of the same cards here. The only difference, well, we'll get into it here, but we're playing a couple of Blood Chief's Thirst. I think everybody knows what Blood Chief's Thirst is, not a big surprise. But we do expect there to be a lot of early aggro decks, and you want to be able to pick off a lot of those early creatures that are going to be annoying. We're playing 4 Falconwrath Pit Fighter. Now, this is the first spot where I thought there could be a little bit of contention, because you could possibly play, what is it, the Fireblade Goblin, whatever, the 1/1 that when it dies deals damage equal to its power, gets haste if it's equipped. Because we have the equipment creatures, that could be an argument to be made as to playing that in this slot, and it is pseudo removal of sorts, and it's more damage that can go at your opponent's head. So those are all relevant reasons if you want to go ahead and play that goblin. I don't have a problem with it. However, I did want to just play straight up 2/1. You know, it's early damage. We can possibly give it double strike with other cards. So yeah, why not? Just going for the easy route. The other thing is too, it is one of the few ways we have to potentially draw cards late in the game if we find it necessary. So, it fills a couple of spots, so I don't really mind it. Now we're playing 3 Rabbit Battery, and this is one that I think everybody wants in every deck with red and creatures. I don't even, maybe that's the right answer. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it is the right way to go. But this is kind of filling out some of our 1 mana things. We're playing 7 total 1 mana creatures, if you include the Rabbit Batteries there. We've got 3 Blade of the Oni. It's a 2 mana 3/1 with Menace. You can equip a thing and with reconfigure, and then the equip thing is 5/5. And that's pretty sweet, right? Nothing to complain about there. The issue, though, is it costs 4. It costs 2 black to reconfigure, and that's fine. Not great, it's fine. But it's one of those things, like, you have to be able to pay that later. You're not going to play it early. Early, you're just going to have a 3/1. And it is a mildly concerning, because we do know that, you know, meat hook massacres are everywhere. So your opponent being a meat hook for just 1 or 2 to wipe out a lot of your stuff kind of sucks. But we're going to try to work around that. Then we have Goro Goro. We're playing 2 copies of this one. It's 2 mana, 2/2. All your creatures gain haste. However, we have a lot that already have haste. But the fact that you can pay 5 and get another dragon, that's actually pretty nice. But you have to be attacking with a modified creature. Not so bad if you're playing all these equipment creatures and things that put counters on stuff. So, it'll probably happen more often than not. Now, this is a card we played in our mono red list for Kami's Flare. It's a colorless and a red. Deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And if you control a modified creature, you get to deal 2 to that permanent's controller. So it's just bonus damage, right? We get to kill something anyway. There's a chance we get to hit the opponent for bonus damage. Then we're playing 3 copies of Lizard Blades because, well, double strike's nice. It's easy to reconfigure. And I do like the fact that reconfigure, at least on the low cost reconfigure cost, allows you to kind of protect a creature if you think a sweeper is coming, which is kind of nice. We are playing 3 Agadeem's Awakening. We do have a lot of stuff that's fairly cheap, so it's possible we could get 2 or 3 things back into play whenever we finally use this, but we'll see how good it is. We're playing 3 Graveyard Trespasser, and this is going to allow us to remove some things from graveyards. There's a few recursion cards that are still going to be a little bit annoying. There's probably going to be some variants of the new Blue Dragon plus Leer, stuff like that. And if you're able to remove creatures or just spells or anything in general from the opponent's graveyard, you might as well go for it. Granted, I don't know how popular those decks will be between stuff like Graveyard Trespasser, Go Blank, and even the Lion Sash, I think could all cause problems for those decks, but we'll see how that plays out. We're playing a full set of 4 Reckless Stormseeker because we're kind of doubling down on the haste, and getting that extra bonus is real nice, so nothing to complain about there. I mean, the problem is we're probably rarely going to flip it tonight unless the opponent does, but even without that, I think just a 3 mana, basically 3/3 with haste is going to be plenty good. Downside is we do have several things already with haste, so we're not getting that much of a bonus out of it, but it allows us to put a lot of pressure on the opponent post-sweeper with so many things that do have haste. Now, this is the card several people have been wanting to see in Decklist on the channel. We do have it finally. We're playing 3 copies of Thundering Raiju. I don't know how good this is going to... part of me feels like this card is going to be good. Right? It feels like it can be very good. It's at worst a 4 mana 4/4 with haste. Won't deal any damage. For those who don't know, it's 2 colorless, red, 3/3 haste. When it attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. Then the Raiju deals that much damage to target player equal to the number of modified creatures you control. Oh, other than itself. So you can't put, if you put the counter on the Raiju, you don't get to do any bonus damage, which is kind of fair, I guess, because you're already going to be making it a 4/4 if you do that. But there are some interesting things here, like if you equip Rabbit early, or if you do have the mana and you're able to put like a Raiju down, and then also put the dragon sword or the lizard swords on something, like that could be pretty good. So there's some interesting scenarios here that you can work out where that could be pretty solid, but we're at least putting it in here to see if it's any good. I think it's good. I know some people really like it. I don't know all the practical applications yet to tell if it's really going to be that good. However, the next card we know is good, and that's 4 goldspan dragons. Now, some people are probably saying, like, why goldspan dragon? Number 1, the card's just dumb good still. It's 5 mana, 4/4 attack. Get a treasure. If somebody attack or targets it, you get a treasure. Now, we do have some things. Actually, we could target it ourselves, but nothing really beneficial unless we just want to deal damage to it. So that's probably never going to happen. We're really going to need our opponent to target it. But the biggest thing I was thinking about is the treasure is pretty key, because late in the game, it will allow us to equip the Blade of the Oni. Almost forgot what the name of it was. But yeah, and that's important because we just don't have enough mana necessarily to do everything and still use the Blade of the Oni. But after we get that 1 turn with the goldspan dragon, even if the board gets swept and we get to save some of our equipment or whatever, then we'll be able to play things and equip things, and I think that's a big deal, especially if you're going to have Rabbit Battery on the board and being able to, like, haste, equip something, boom, maybe get in a big attack. That's really what we're leaning on here with this goldspan dragon. We're hoping it survives a reasonable number. Even just 1 or 2 attacks is really all you need. That treasure could be the thing. However, if it does survive that, we also possibly just kill him, because this has potential to be a very fast deck. But looking at the lands, we're playing a full set of Blightstep Pathway. We're playing 3 Den of the Bugbear, 4 Haunted Ridge. We're playing 2 each of Sokinzen, which I think I got right again for the 2nd video in a row, and Takenuma. And the thing about Sokinzen that I like is that it is just, if you're flooded, it's like, okay, cool, we'll just make 2 other creatures, maybe get to equip them up or whatever, and just get after it, right? That's another way. It could be surprise damage too, because you don't necessarily have to use this as a sorcery. So there's a chance you just do it during your opponent's end step, make a couple of bodies, and if they're already low on life, you know, you can win that situation where they're at like 2 or 3 and maybe they can't block the right things. So that could be beneficial. Also, with Takenuma, this is a way to get back some of our creatures that we may have lost post-sweeper, right? Maybe we get back a Raiju, or, you know, maybe you mill a goldspan dragon into the yard and you can cast that the following turn. So there's a few different things that these lands are going to do for us that I think are really nice, and potentially really help us out in some situations where this type of aggro deck might have stuttered before. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. The rest of our lands are pretty simple. It's just 5 mountains and 2 swamps. So nothing else to write home about that. Now, I will say there still are other things you could play. Like maybe you want to play Duresses if you think there's going to be a lot of, mid-rangey control type stuff. That's an option. I do think there's other ways you can go. Maybe if you don't want to play Goldspan Dragon, that opens up the door for some things there. Maybe you play an extra Raiju. Maybe you go heavy on the low end. Just load up like the Rabbit Battery and the Blade of the Oni and just go ham that way and just stay lower. That's a realistic possibility. I think the problem is going to be really just deciding what pieces you want as the format shakes out. Because there may even be a version where you want to play like Kalane and whatnot and go heavy on the treasure and just splash a few of the equipment creatures, right? That could be a thing. So there's a lot of actual options here that you can build from. So I'm kind of feeling all that. I think it's all really cool, but I don't really know if we're going to have a determined way to go that's definitive until probably end of week 2-ish. I think the thing right now with Kamigawa, there's so many good cards that so many decks are going to be trying 80 different things. So you're going to be getting hit from left and right. So something like this could be good is that it's linear, but it does have a decent amount of removal, and it can really just keep the pressure up, which sometimes is going to be good enough to get you some wins all on its own. Now, I do want to say again, if you haven't considered it, please consider joining the channel for as little as 99 cents, because that'll help me out here producing content in the future. Also, remember, please like, subscribe, share, all that wonderful stuff. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you don't miss these videos that I'll be putting out, because like I said, we still have a couple more days. I'm going to be putting them out multiple times a day, so you're ready to go when Neon Dynasty drops. But that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.